What's going on, New York? How's everyone doing? All right, cool. So I've got about 10 minutes to drop some alpha on you guys. But before I get started, my attorneys wanted me to share with all of you, especially since it's being recorded, that anything I tell you here today is for entertainment purposes only. You got it? So always do your research. And with that being said, it's great to be here with you guys. My name is Carlos Gil. How many of you in this room are on Instagram or on Twitter? Raise your hands. All right, cool. Here's what I want y'all to do. Pull out your phone and add me at CarlosGil83. And by a very quick show of hands, how many of you in this room own NFTs? I'm very curious to know. Okay. So like full DGen level, with DGen being a 10, how many of y'all would consider yourselves DGens? Just want to know? All right, cool. So I just asked that because I like to know the audience I'm speaking to. I do these talks all over the world, and I speak to people that are at the brand level that know absolutely nothing about this and think that NFTs are a scam. And then I speak to DGens all day long on Twitter and Discord and Instagram, and like they're all drinking from the fire hose. So the world as we know it has changed. And what I'm going to share with you here at NFT NYC is, as a brand marketer, how you can tap into Web3 and do it effectively. Now, the world that I come from is Web 2. So like the gentleman that introduced me said, I've written a couple books, then to marketing. My thesis is that today, people want to be engaged by other people. They don't want to be sold to. And in this new normal that we're in of marketing, especially as we start tapping into things like NFTs and blockchain and Web3, it's really important that you understand that your brand is not bigger than the community that you're trying to tap into. However, if you tap into this community, and you're seeing it right here in this room, you're seeing it at this conference, you'll be much more successful than a lot of the brands that are tipping their toe in the water right now. Now, Facebook has changed from Facebook to Meta. It's extremely important for you to understand this, because Facebook is what got us through Web 2.0. They were the pioneers of social media. We live in an era now where not only Facebook is becoming Meta, but you have people actually going to conferences like this as cartoon avatars, okay? You have islands in the Caribbean being sold via NFTs. This is NFT worlds. How many of you have ever dreamed about owning your own island? It's pretty fascinating, isn't it? Well, guess what? Not only today can you own your own island, but you can also have your own tiki hut on your own island, a tiki hut that you monetize. So think about having Airbnb, but in the metaverse. Now, with that being said, social media, which is Web 2.0, is extremely noisy. I think we can all agree. So how many of you here either work for a brand or you're on the agency side and you work with brands? Raise your hands really high. So what y'all's struggle right now is not how do I get my clients into NFTs and Web3. Maybe that's where you're having those conversations, but it's how can I keep my clients relevant? So does anyone in this room enjoy being sold to? Raise your hands really high. There's one person out of about 300 of you. So that means 299 people that more than likely do marketing for a living don't want to be sold to, but yet we're constantly doing what we're selling. So when we start talking about things like NFTs, yes, what's gotten you to this point in terms of building a brand, building a community, selling online matters. Facebook ads, Instagram ads, they matter, but really understanding the ethos of what this is all about matters too. So there's a lot of different definitions of what NFTs are. Yes, it stands for non-fungible token, but what I really want you to understand is that an NFT is a digital asset. It lives on a blockchain, and it's backed by cryptocurrency. And this digital asset is also creating a new digital asset wealth class. Now, the question I get asked all the time is, Carlos, what makes an NFT valuable? And it's very simple. There's two things. It's community, it's supply and demand, it's actually three. It's FOMO, fear of missing out. So again, three things really make NFTs valuable. It's the community, it's the FOMO it's created, and it's the supply and demand. Which brings me to this point, which is hype is the new marketing. Now, what do I mean by hype is the new marketing? Well, for those of you that are familiar with sneaker culture, sports culture, NFT culture, Web3 culture, there's a lot of hype that we're selling on an ongoing basis. And it's not just products anymore, but it's experiences. And for your brand to be able to tap into this new consumer base that exists, you have to be a part of the hype culture. Now, the business opportunity that exists for brands is evident. If you're struggling right now to get reach on a platform like Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, the easiest way for you to be able to break through that barrier is get into NFTs. It's not necessarily creating your own NFTs, but it's actually getting into it. And you see the numbers here in the stats. As of beginning of this year, there's more than 80 million blockchain wallets. That's more than 80 million people that you have access to market to and reach. And brands, big brands already get it. I'm sure over the next couple of days that you're here, you're gonna hear about what Nike's doing, what Adidas is doing, Coke, Pepsi, and the rest. But let's really analyze what these brands at the heart of the matter are doing. Visa drops 150K for a CryptoPunk. Arizona Iced Tea buys an ape. Why are they buying into these projects? It's very simple, because they understand there's a cool factor by being associated with these projects. You see, historically, what marketers and advertisers would do is they would spend money. They'd spend $150,000, $200,000. They'd run a Facebook ads campaign, or they'd run a newspaper ad campaign or a magazine ad campaign. NFTs and buying into the right projects today has replaced that form of advertising. And now, by buying into a project, the earned media value that you get by buying an ape or a CryptoPunk or any one of these blue chip projects has replaced the ROI that you would previously get by running a Facebook ad. See how that works? Adidas bought a Bored Ape. They did something really fascinating because they now own the IP to their Bored Ape. They decked out their Bored Ape with an Adidas tracksuit. They resold their Bored Ape as its own new NFT, and Adidas generated over $20 million in revenue in 2 hours on an afternoon, just because they purchased a Bored Ape. Any lazy lions in the room? Okay? No? This is one of the best entry-level NFT projects that you can get into. And the reason why it's one of the best entry-level projects that you can get into is because right now, and again, this is not financial advice, it's just entertainment purposes. The reason why is because if you get into lazy lions right now for right around 0.8 Ethereum, so under 1 ETH, and you tweet out that you purchased a lazy lion, the number of people that are going to come out of the woodwork and share your content is going to surpass putting out an organic message on Twitter, running a Facebook ad, or running an Instagram ad. So if there's one key takeaway that I want all of you brand marketers and agency marketers to understand is that buying an NFT and getting into the right community is the new form of advertisement. Now, what makes an NFT worth buying is very simple. I've got these 5 bullets here on the screen. 1, it's docs founders, and that means people that you know are actually behind the project. Don't put your money into projects where you don't know who the founders are, because that's like giving a stranger your money. Second is the artwork. And again, artwork is subjective because let's be real, none of this stuff is art. These are all cartoon JPEGs. So the art, if it aligns with your brand, like in the case of Lazy Lions, Puma bond to Lazy Lions, Gutter Cat Gang because it aligns with their brand. Benefits and utility. Benefits and utility are interesting because for a brand, you might not reap the benefits and the utility such as the experiences, but guess what? Those are experiences that now you can raffle off and give to your customers. Engaged community goes without saying. You should be buying into projects that have an engaged community and then active social media presence. Now, very quickly, let's go through the benefits of NFT ownership. 1, access to events, and we're seeing it happen here at NFT NYC. How many Doodles parties, Gutter Cat parties, Ape Fest are you seeing? The reason why these events are popping off and they're becoming places where people want to go is because of the exclusivity, and the only way that you get in is through ownership. So it's access to events, access to community, surprise airdrops. So if you're creating a project for yourself or for your brand, think about how do we keep our audience engaged beyond the initial mint. Again, we're talking about a new digital asset class here. Owning an NFT for your brand or for your client's brand should mean something. Now, I've got a few more slides before I get off stage, so I'm going to browse through this. It's a good slide for you to pull out your phone and take a picture of the screen. This is NFT lingo explained. What you guys really need to understand is that if you're going to get into this space, this is a new culture that you're tapping into. The way people speak, the way they engage, the way they think about brands, it's completely new, it's changed. So there's only so many Nikes and Pepsis and Coca-Colas to go around. But if you're looking to become the next Bored Apes or aspire to have a blue chip project that takes off, you have to understand that there's an ethos that exists here, and that's called community. And you're not bigger than the community, but the great thing about it is that if you tap into this community, you'll very quickly make friends and alliances and form relationships. So before I get stage, I just want to shill my project real quick. It's called Sneakerheads. These are Sneakerhead superheroes. Anyone that wants to get on the whitelist, be sure to send me a DM at Carlos Gil 83 on Twitter or on Instagram. I'm more than happy to hook you guys up. I've also got a book. It's called The End of Marketing. So for those of you that want to learn a lot deeper about things like community brand building, social media management, I'd love for you guys to check out The End of Marketing by going to endofmarketingbook.com. So I know our time here is short. Thank you so much, New York. If you guys have any questions, I'll be in the back of the room.